Hello, it's me, Pavlo, and today we'll be talking about the accessory, and in particular it's earphones cable, but it's not like regular cable, it's cable made by PW Audio, and I think everyone knows this company. They create a lot of cables, and of course it's not their multi-$1,000 models, but it's still really well-made cable. It's PW Audio Epoch. Its price is about $300, maybe a bit less, but somewhere at that range. And it's a pure copper story. So inside main cable is made of OCC leads, and for the isolation here used oxygen-free copper. So really interesting in terms of materials. So like pushing just pure copper to the maximum without some mix-ins or something like that. So let's have a closer look what it gives us. Here is cable itself, and at first sight it looks pretty bulky and not really comfortable, but in practice well thought design makes it really nice in everyday usage. So PW Audio decided to use that approach to the design, where parts above the splitter and below the splitter are really different. So above the splitter we have two wires, as you can see, definitely thick, definitely reliable, and it's coaxial cable with OCC copper inside, monocrystalline copper if I remember right, and the PW Audio signature insulation around this cable, so it's coaxial in the design. And despite of pretty bulky look, this part is soft enough for comfortable wearing. So it's definitely not that super soft cable, and it's not absolutely well behaving cable in terms of its positioning, but actually thanks to the pretty bulky splitter and the pretty massive part below the splitter, so this part pulls down and gives really good and comfortable positioning of the cable. Also PW Audio used really well designed ear hook that also helps to achieve really great wearing comfort with almost all models, because they help to position earpieces in ear correctly, and also they of course drastically reduce microphonic effect, so almost no issues here. But at the same time you need to have some earphones that fit really reliably in your ears, because with some small and lightweight IEMs it can they can be not enough to hold it properly. But in general I think it won't be a really often case. So here it goes. As you can see, they didn't do any attempts to make some fancy look, something more glamorous, but at the same time it definitely looks reliable, and I'd assume that it's the case where internal cable structure plays the most important role than all attempts to make outer beauty. So here is the splitter with chin slider, and below it goes like really thick and in fabric insulation. I'm not a great fan in general, but here it used wisely. So it gives you additional durability and reliability, but at the same time upper part doesn't give you that microphonic effect and reduce it, so like smart move in terms of design. And it goes way down to the Pentagon connector. Of course you can get any termination you want on both ends, and I must admit that here used really universal 2-pin connectors, so as you can see they can be easily fit into recessed sockets, and even into recessed sockets with that key notch, so they have all things in place to fit any 2-pin earphones. And in terms of sound, I have like my own vision based on my experience with cables, and I repeat it in almost all videos, but here what I like, not probably discovered what I understand for myself. So first thing that this rule, like it's copper, it reduces treble and makes bass more thick. It doesn't work like at 100%, or like silver makes everything brighter and so on. So you know, it's kind of psychosomatics, because you can see silver, you think of air and so on. You can see like dark copper and you think about darker sound. No, that doesn't work this way. Earphone cables definitely changes the sound, but also not really much. So cases when you get some drastically different sound, it's not an option for cables, because they are used more for tweaking the sound of earphones, but their character will prevail anyway. And another my observation, so one cable can give you different sound with different earphones, and that's actually totally the case for this PW Audio Epoch. First I used it with my Noble Audio Han. I like this model, I use it often, I used to their signature, and what I've observed with this cable. So first of all, it made bass actually not more massive, but at the same a bit more drier and a bit more punchy. So it's good for some realistic instruments where you need like maximum amount of that small nuances and details, but at the same time it just makes electronic music that relies on the purely on bass weight a bit less exciting, because bass became a bit drier and faster. So in my opinion, it's totally worth a change, but not for everyone. And for the mid frequencies, almost no changes, and actually it added a bit of additional spark to the treble. Not by much, but treble became a bit more sparkly. So even with these earphones, actually results are different from what you can expect. Just out of curiosity, I tried with that Flow IEM that I reviewed recently, that affordable dynamic driver model. It was in my previous review, but it doesn't change its sound much. So I assume that to hear the difference, to get benefits of this cable, you need to pair it with more expensive earphones to get more like when earphones themselves won't be a limiting part. I'd rather say that it's not like some rule of thumb or definitely fixed rules. It's from $500, of course roughly speaking, up to like, you know, $2,000, somewhere that limit, because I try it with Noble Audio Ronin and Viking Ragnar, and I didn't I can't say that I didn't like the result, but in that scenario cable was a bit like limiting, so it made the bass a bit less saturated and bit less engaging, let's say it so. But actually PW Audio has a lot of more expensive cables that will suit that segment much better, so pretty expectable result. For example, Whiskey Fire Audio Andromeda, not the last version, but what was the previous one, like 2021, I used some inexpensive adapters from 2-pin to MMCX, but actually adapters are pretty nice. They almost don't impact sound. Don't remember the name, I've got them from AliExpress and didn't expect much, but they appeared to be rather nice. Of course, it wasn't like a super comfortable experience, but I like the changes because it makes their mids a bit more full-bodied, and also like changes treble to bit also a bit more sparkling, so interesting shift in the sound. I won't say that it became like super better, but it gives me a different and really enjoyable experience in this case. what also I tried to use. I used Noble Audio Sultan, but actually it also made the bass a bit drier, but for Sultan I didn't like that result, because for Sultan I prefer their a bit warmth that they offer in the sound signature. So as you can see, cables are really exciting thing, but also in every particular scenario you getting different outcomes. So if I'd average this cable, from my experience, it doesn't add much bass. It made the bass like more impactful and more like saturated with small nuances and details. So it's improvement in the bass, but also it changes treble a little bit, making it a bit more sparkly, but not with all earphones and so on. So as usual, it's interesting thing for the experiments, but with different IEMs you'll get different results. But cable, of course, is a good example of smart design and interesting approach that moves just everything to maximum level while keeping on the more affordable side of things for the PW audio, of course. Thank you for listening, thank you for your attention, and of course have a great day.